get the document up, which is this one here. Yep, going well, going well. Just talk amongst yourselves. It'll work. Guarantee it. Hopefully. Here we go. All right. So yep, everyone can see. All right, so am I on? Yep. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about the guided conversations that we've been having with the clubs, which is a joint project between Regional Sport Victoria and Sport and Rec. We'll also have Matt talking about the latest updates from the government, and Pam Ferrari's just sent me, for those netballers in the room, the latest from Netball Vic, which is great. And also Nick's going to give us some fundraising ideas. So the fundraising ideas will be for all clubs and associations, not specifically for any sport in particular. So we welcome everyone's input, and once again, we thank you for your participation. It is greatly appreciated. The first thing I want to once again reinforce tonight is that we are here to work with you to ensure you get through COVID-19 in the best possible shape that together we can get you in. All right, so that's our job. That's what Sport and Rec Victoria are telling us. All right, our job is to ensure that the clubs in our regions get through this pandemic in the best possible condition that we can get them in. All right, under no circumstances whatsoever are we cutting across anyone, all right, or stealing anyone's thunder. We are here to work with you, whether you be a football, netball club, whether you be a volleyball association, a basketball association, a netball association, badminton, go-karts, whatever that may be. We are here to help you. All right, so the guided conversations that we're going through at the moment, once again, Regional Sport Victoria, they are the peak body for the 9 sports assemblies in the state. So that's who we report to first, and then the information that we get pass on to Regional Sport Victoria, they collate and pass on to Sport and Rec Victoria. So between them, we're building a database of information, right, on the clubs and the impact that the COVID-19 is having on the clubs at this point in time. The first step that we're doing is that we're building a case. Right? We're trying to build the case as best we can from the experience that you guys out there in clubland are telling us. Right? So that the information that we gather from those guided conversations do help shape the decisions that are being made down in Spring Street. So that's the important thing to remember there. The information that you provide to us, right, during these guided conversations help shape the decision making down in Spring Street. First thing that we want to let you know is that we're here to support you. Right, so if there's anything that you need at this stage that we can help you with, by all means, shoot us a chat, shoot us an email, shoot us a message. Don't ring the office, please. Don't ring the office. Our phone system has capped itself severely, right? And we were in the process of getting a new phone system put in place when we got told to lock down. So you're more than welcome to ring me at any stage, or any of Rebecca, Tim, Nick, or Matt on their mobiles at any stage. And what we'll do is we'll put that information in the review of tonight's in tomorrow's email. So you can ring us at any stage, but once again, don't ring the office because you're not going to get anywhere and you're not going to get us anyway. So any support that you need at this stage, we're only too pleased to help you out. We understand that it's a tough situation as well, and that if at any stage any of my staff ring you and it's not the right time, just say so and we'll leave you. Okay, we understand, and especially some of us, it's been pretty close to home, so we understand it's a challenging time, and that's okay. We'll catch up with you another time. We'll give you the space that you need. What we would like to know is that obviously we've got your contacts here, otherwise you wouldn't be tuning in tonight. And if that's okay from your perspective, that you are representing your club when it comes to the guided conversations, that's fine. Otherwise, if there is a preferred person that you would like us to talk to, by all means, let us know who that is, so we won't bother you while you're on the tractor or the header or the windrower or whatever that may be. We'll make sure we get the right person at the right time to get the information that we're looking for. The survey consists of 15 questions. The first 5 are just basic data entry questions that we'll be looking for. The next 4 there are just introductory questions to confirm that you are the primary contact and you want us to talk to you, or that we get the contact that you would prefer us to talk to. The next 3, the questions are based around just generally what is your major concern right now, right? What has been the impact for your club to date? And what do you anticipate the issues might be going forward? Or, may I dare say, what the opportunities may be going forward for your club. So 2-part question, that one, what the issues are and what the opportunities are, because there are going to be some opportunities for us from the learnings that we take out of this period that we're in lockdown. Also, we've been talking about this over the course of our webinar series about the plans that you have over the next few months, what your focus will be, what do you need to do. We can help there. We'll get that information as well. And then once again, getting back to, is there anything that you need from us? So in a nutshell, right, we are here to help you, so you won't be disturbing us. We want to hear from you. If we do ring you over the course of the next week or 2, and it's not the right time, we'll log that call as a call anyway, and we'll probably we'll leave a message and touch base with you at a more convenient time. But we are here to help. That's why Sport and Rec Victoria and Vic Health pay us. So that's mine in a nutshell. Just short and sweet here for you. I'm more than happy to answer any questions or any chats, Rebecca, that may have come through in relation to how we can help. Once again, we've got some people on board that we've done the club health check with in the initial start, which is great, and more than happy to keep working with you in relation to your club health check. So that's been a positive for us as well. The feedback that we're getting, the number of people that are participating on our webinars and forums, it's just blown us away. We do really appreciate your support, and hopefully, and we know that the information that we're giving you has been worthwhile and has been valuable, and we'll continue to do that. So if there are no questions, Rebecca, or if anyone wants to ask.
There's nothing in the chat, so yeah, at this stage.
Okay, all right. So what I'll do now is I'll hand over to Matt, and Matt's going to take us through the latest updates from the government and the state sporting associations, and where to find them. So Matt, over to you.
Thanks, Dave. I'll just share my screen here. You'll be able to see that on the Wimmera Regional Sports Assembly website at wrsa.org.au, we have a couple of COVID-19 specific pages. The first one is information for Wimmera Community Sport, and the second one is Wimmera Sport and Return to Play. So on the first page, and the information for Wimmera Community Sport. This is a page that's been put together by a team at Regional Sport Victoria. It is being updated by staff constantly when information comes to hand. So it includes links to all our local government web pages and Facebook updates. The Horsham Rural City Council link is the link that Mandy was referring to in the last webinar. And it also has links to Sport and Rec, the AIS, Sport Australia, and every sport that there is. So if there's a sport that you can think of, it will be on this list. It links to their website, to their latest website update, and to their latest Facebook post. So you can jump on there, have a look, see what sports are saying, what their advice is directly from the sport. Now, obviously, some sports are a little bit better equipped to continually update their website and Facebook. So some of the information is might be a day or a week or a few weeks since that's been updated for them, but that will be the most up-to-date information that has been provided by that sporting association. And on our Wimmera Sport and Return to Play page, this gives a summary of what the gradual easing of restrictions in Victoria are and how they relate to the restricted activity directions from the Chief Health Officer. So that's our go-to information, the restricted activity directions. That tells us what is allowed, what the government, the Chief Health Officer have said can be done. But again, these are general, and for your sport, you need to make sure that you're following the advice of your state sporting association, because every sport is going to be different. And they will have to run to different timelines and different modifications and different.
I think he may have just froze. Does everyone else have him as frozen? Yeah, he has just frozen. Yep.
Yep.
And hang on, I can.
So I'll carry on, Rebecca, if you like, just until Matt is able to
Sure.
unfreeze himself. The important thing, once again, is please, we've got to take notice, firstly, of what's come from our immediate peak body that's above us. All right. So, for example, 1 minute before we jumped on tonight, I was talking to Pam Ferrari from Netball, and she will have, she's got 3 webinars planned for all the netballers in the room who would like to jump on board to get a clear understanding of where Netball Victoria sit in relation to return to play. We won't say anything specifically about return to play for netball until Wednesday night, so that there's no confusion at all from a netball perspective. All right, so the important thing, once again, look at what your peak body is passing down to you, and then also take into consideration what your council, what your LGA rep is saying. So Horsham Rural City Council people should be touching base with Mandy. Northern Grampians touch base with Tony Jark. Hindmarsh Shire touch base with Phil King up there, and Yarriambiack Shire touch base with, I think the girl's name is Rebecca Batheris at Yarriambiack Shire. So please make sure that you touch base with them before you start sending your players off and doing anything there. So it's been the same message all the way through, and we continue to say that message, because as the more and more information that's coming through, and Matt will back me up here now that he's unfrozen, the more confusing it's getting. So make sure you just keep in priority order where they are coming from, and make sure you know where you sit in relation to the information that's coming from above, especially our football netball club. So Matt, back to you.
Sorry about that. Slight technical difficulty there with my internet connection. So I'll share my screen again if I can. And talking about the advice that's come directly from the Department of Health and Human Services regarding sport, cultural and recreational activity restrictions. So this is what was eased from midnight last Tuesday. And again, it's a collation of all the frequently asked questions, all the information that, as Dave said, there is a lot of information out there, and it can be quite confusing of what is the current information. So this is the go-to page. These come directly from the Chief Health Officer's restricted activity directions, and you can be sure that the information you're reading here is as up to date as it can be, and it will continue to be updated as restrictions ease. The one thing you do need to keep in mind is that following the advice of your state sporting association when it comes to running your club or your activities is imperative, because every sport is going to be different, and not every sport is going to fit into the wider overarching restrictions that we have here. So make sure that you're keeping in contact with your state sporting association to get the information that you need to ensure that when your sport is going back to doing the things that the state sporting association want you to. And then looking at Sport and Recreation Victoria as Sport and Recreation gets ready to return to play. So this is another resource that's coming directly from the restricted activity directions of the Chief Health Officer. And a lot of the information here is duplicated and replicated across all the different sites. So whether it's a WRSA site, DHHS site, or the SRV site. And there are on the return to play for community sport and active recreation, a number of frequently asked questions for participants. So you can use this information to ensure that when you're talking to your members and the people who are going to be participating when your sport returns, that they can be as educated as possible, that they can all be receiving the same information, knowing what the restrictions are in general, and then what it means for their sport when you get the guidance from your state sporting association. So 3 references there to the Wimmera Regional Sports Assembly resources on the wrsa.org.au website to get all your information from all of the state sporting associations, the latest information on sport and returning to play, and then the latest updates on the easing of restrictions from a general perspective with the Department of Health and Human Services, and then a more sport-specific focus from Sport and Recreation Victoria. And we'll share all these links in the follow-up from tonight's webinar. So I'll pass it back to Beck now. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thanks, Matt. We'll hand over to Nick now. All yours, Nick.
No worries. Thanks, guys. So I too will go about sharing my screen. So hopefully we're all there with some fundraising ideas. So as we know, we're probably a little short on money across clubs and associations around the way at the minute. So we thought of just some fundraising ideas that may come in handy. So the first one, reviewing game and competition day costs to see possible savings that could be made. So e.g. if it is a football game, instead of getting the paid umpires, can, maybe a couple of volunteers do it? And that obviously then saves on money, saves on people being in the ground, et cetera, et cetera. But I guess the main one there is that it saves on money, so you're not paying extra on top of what is already there. Live streaming, your sport. Is it affordable or possible? Some sports more so than others. Obviously, again, football and netball probably a little bit easier than maybe your golfs or runnings or something like that go across quite a distance. That way you can get nan and pop, mum and dad, etc. Can pay a fee to get the stream and then watch their kids play or compete in their sport. Aimed at the footy and netball clubs, the Toyota Good for Footy raffle, send it all over Facebook at the minute, clubs signing up and sharing the links to it. All the money goes back there to your club. So if you sign up and you get your players, supporters, sponsors, members, anyone else involved to buy a ticket, and they just add in your football or netball club, the money goes back there, and there's some pretty good prizes on board there as well. So the fourth one, an appeal to sponsors. If you haven't already, as we know, most clubs will have a long-standing arrangement with their sponsors. So sort of levering with those that, you know, you've sponsored us for 10 years. We've seen some great increases both with our club and your business. You know, maybe, you know, we're not playing this season or competing this season. You know, maybe instead of the $1,000 you give us, maybe $250 or $500, just in good faith of continuing on. That's a discussion, obviously, for the board and the sponsor. Finding some new sponsors as well, obviously, could be pretty tough, but agribusiness is doing pretty well during this time, and be innovative with how you can honour the sponsors. So Facebook, Instagram, anything else that you can think of. As we've said numerous times before, there is no wrong answer at the minute. Also, an appeal to the members that you already have that haven't been too heavily impacted by the pandemic. So if you offer up maybe a social membership, so maybe your club's full membership might be $100. If you say, we'll give you a social membership for this year, whether we get up and going $40 or $30, whatever it might be, you can take that off their club membership fees for the following year, or the year coming, if it does get up and running. And for those that haven't been impacted, they might be happy to chip in any amount as well, particularly if they've paid their full membership. They might be willing to chip in, you know, $10 or $100. And at the end of the day, it's all going to help everyone there. So one that I've used before, or my club's used before, particularly for footy trip and netball trip fundraisers, and with the likelihood that they won't be going ahead this year, we can flip that around, and that can help the club itself. So assisting those from farming or labouring or any other work industries. So e.g. a day's work helping with fencing by the players who aren't playing. This should make the club some extra funds. Again, you can get inventive with this. However, find a local business. Again, even better if it is one of your sponsors, and see what your club can do to help with the running of the business as it is. You know, it might be fencing. It could be helping with deliveries on a Saturday morning. It could be absolutely anything. I guess it's just a question between your club or association and your sponsor, just to see what you can provide them in return. And obviously that links back into the appeal for sponsors. If you can give them something, e.g. some volunteer work hours that the club gets paid for, then that's going to work as well. So collecting and selling firewood, it's an age-old, pretty easy one for those that can. So as we know, winter's on its way. A lot of people probably haven't stockpiled on the firewood as they may have previously. So again, it's just volunteer and manpower from the clubs and players and supporters is what is key for that one. So not too hard, but at the same time, obviously, if you've got somewhere to go, it makes it a lot easier. So the eighth one is a fundraising fee as part of the membership. I know St Arnaud Netball Club do this. So it's no need to sell chocolates anymore. What they do is they have their club membership and insurance at, say, maybe $150, and then they tack on an extra $50 as a fundraising fee. So as I said, they don't have to sell chocolates. They don't have to do a raffle. And when you've got an extra $50 from however many members, it adds up pretty quickly there as well. So we've also got the state government assistance coming. So there's a rescue package come the end of May and a stimulus package coming August, September. I won't talk too much to those. I might throw back to Dave just after I stop sharing my screen, and he can update with those as well. And he can also touch on the 10th point as well, which is the Wimmera Sports Raffle. So keep an eye on this down the track. We will share this with all clubs and associations that are in this webinar forum, but by the look of it, I'm not sure how far down the track this idea is, but it's something similar that will look to the Toyota Good for Footy raffle, but it'll be open to any and all sports in the Wimmera. And same theory that if you sign your club up and people buy a ticket and name your club, the money will go back to your club from there. So again, as the others, happy to take any questions, or if there's any other ideas that you can help each other with. Obviously, we're probably in a pretty good time of sharing resources and ideas, so I guess we're not trying to hide anything from each other. So if you've got anything to share, feel free to. But I might chuck it back to Dave just to talk on points 9 and 10 from mine here. So I'll stop sharing and let Dave take over from here.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, in relation to the rescue package, it's going to be called Keep the Lights On package, and it will be targeted at SSAs and clubs and associations, and it's basically just that, to keep the lights on. So any of those recurring costs that you can't escape from during this period, all right, some funding, you can apply for some funding to assist with those recurring costs. We don't know how much it is at this stage. They're still working on the nitty-gritty of the package, hence the reason why it's probably not going to be released till the end of May. But I can say that there'll be significant rigour around the application process to ensure that the funding goes to those clubs that need it. For those that applied for the business support package through that e-form process, the process will be similar to that. It'll be an e-form application, and it will be assessed by representatives from Sport and Rec Victoria, Vic Health and Vic Sport. The applications will be assessed there. So look, we'll keep you informed of that once it becomes a lot clearer. We'll be expecting some more next week, but we'll get that information out to you. But it's not going to be the answer. Let me just say, it is not going to be the answer to all your funding issues. It is there purely, as we said, just to keep the lights on. All right, so bear that in mind. It's got nothing to do with crowds or loss of income from bars that you won't have, no crowds, fundraising or anything. It's got nothing to do with that. It's purely those recurring costs around keeping the lights on. The stimulus package after that is more around stimulating the clubs and associations who have been significantly impacted once again during this time. And it will be around in making membership affordable and accessible, and retaining your members and attracting new members. So once again, they're still working on that stimulus package, the state government. It's got to be signed off by the minister at this stage, but we'll give you the information on the rescue package, the Keep the Lights On package, and we'll keep you informed about the stimulus package as it develops. In relation to the Wimmera Sports Raffle, it is just an idea at this stage that the crew at Chris and Vanetta at the Women Development Association are in the process. We've been throwing it around as part of our get-togethers over the last couple of weeks. And Chris will talk probably a little bit more about that as we go on, and we'll get Chris on board as well. But suffice to say that we're working together to be able to establish some form of Wimmera Sports Raffle to help all the clubs and associations in the Wimmera from that perspective. So if there's no questions, I love Cara Reinheimer, how you just sit there with that smile on your face for the whole 35 minutes without blinking. That is just unbelievable. Thanks very much. Just had to throw that in, Cara. Thanks very much. If there's any questions or anything like that, once again, feel free to contact us. We are here to help you as best that we can. I'll put my hand up and say I'm not an expert, but together, who knows what we can achieve. All right. So if there's nothing else, Rebecca, that you've seen on the chat. All right. Hang in there, troops. Hang in there. It's only going to get better. And I know it's going to be confusing, but stay patient. And if there's anything that we can help you with, just give us a yell. For the football, netball clubs that are on board tonight, hopefully we'll see you on Wednesday night. If not, we'll understand why, but we'll make sure that we keep in touch.
And
All
just
right.
a reminder on that, you have to RSVP to get the link. So if you haven't RSVP to me, then you need to, for me to be able to send you out the link. I will send a reminder out to everyone tomorrow. But yeah, it is something that we are asking clubs to indicate if they want to be a part of. So then if you RSVP, then we'll send you the link for Wednesday night.
Much appreciated, Sally and Sharon. Your comments are greatly appreciated, and we do take them on board because we're here to help, and we want you to know that. So, yeah, thank you very much for your comments. They are greatly appreciated. All the best, everyone. Stay patient. It'll come, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Good on you, Cara.